Okay. For you, Coffee.
I'm a living example of you can get punched in the face and get back up, because I'm the modern day Aztec warrior. Welcome to MMA Underground. You got Buddy V with the co-host
Sam K. And who we got tonight? Who we got tonight?
Special.
The one, the only, the magician himself, Mr. Daniel Castillo from Heart in the Fight.
What's up, gentlemen? What's up, gentlemen? How you doing?
Chilling, bro. Chilling. How you feeling, bro?
Good, man. I'm glad to be on. I'm glad to be able to partner with, your channel. And so it's always great. Like Street Beast has a number of media outlets, and it's always great when media outlets can actually, collaborate, and we don't have to be in competition. It's like, yo, I see what y'all doing. Y'all see what we're doing, and let's partner. Let's actually do something together. So it's great that we had the opportunity to be in your platform as well as y'all be on our platform as well. So I always appreciate the invitation.
Yes, sir.
everyone in the chat too. Thank you all for tuning in.
Live chat. How y'all doing?
Now, Heart in the Fight, it's Daniel. I am so excited. It's like you said, he has his own whole entire channel we'll get into in a minute. But, he's here as a guest, so he gets to relax a little bit. I feel like this might have been a little stress-free, You don't have to plan everything.
Yeah, you certainly, when you're running shows, there's like a million things that you're thinking of as the show is going on. So it's like you're thinking about the questions, you're also thinking about the comments, you're thinking about the transition, like how do I go from one guest to the next? And so I appreciate just being able to sit back and let y'all do the work.
Absolutely.
Hey, bro, it's crazy because we understand like you have a lot on your plate, but what's wild to see is how you do it like seamlessly, man. You make it seem, like it's really not the work that it is. You do a great job, man.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I'm glad it's received that way, because in the back of my head, I'm like, man, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I know. Shoot, the award show alone, you know what I mean? Like us doing that part, on our end, is a little work. So, me thinking, like, man, what does Daniel got to go through to set all this up and get the charts and the names and, yeah, I'll be wondering, man, how does he do it?
Man, I wonder myself, right? I've oftentimes, like, I'm doing this work like way late in the night when I get my other work done, right? And so it's like, all right, let me see what time I have to kind of cram in to make these things happen. But yeah, I mean, like you said, the award show certainly is a huge lift because we're talking about an entire year of branches actively fighting or, producing an event every single month. And so if every single event has around 20 to 30 fights, I mean, easily we're looking at hundreds of fights that we have to kind of consider when we're looking at who are the top fights, who are the top fighters, who are the rising stars. And so you constantly have to check in to see what's going on. You have to check in with all the branches, gauge the temperature, see who's out there. And so it's a lot of work because not only are we tabulating throughout the year, so it's like, oh, that's a great one. And so folks don't know, on YouTube, if you have a YouTube channel, you can create your own playlist and you can have private ones. And so in our private ones, like I'm constantly saving fights. So I'm like, okay, this will probably go in this category. This will go in this category. So by the end of the year, literally, not only am I accepting the nominations, but I'm also looking back at all the fights that I tabulated throughout the year. And so, I mean, that's easily 200, 300 fights that I have to personally review to see if the people not consider these fights to be part of, their nomination. So, I mean, it's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, and it's you became a name. We're talking Heart in the Fight. So many people know from East Coast to West Coast to up north to down south, and it's crazy because I remember I was rewatching the 2021 Fight Awards, and one of the first things that was said is, man, last year people were like, what? What the fight? Who's this? And now people are volunteering. And now this year it's just like I can hear so many people from different branches messaging, talk about who's gonna be this, who's gonna be that, and like, you know, who'd you vote for? Oh, you better vote for me for this and this. I'm like, oh man, I already submitted. Sorry.
And it's a lot of pressure though. It's a lot of pressure, right? Because not only that, right? So it's pressure on for those who are asking you to vote for them. It's like, hey, can you put in a vote for me? But also there's a lot of pressure because we're the ones who are, we're the face of the actual award show. And so when people don't like the results or don't like the outcome, they're not blaming the voters. They're blaming me. They're blaming the platform. And so they're saying, well, you're biased or your entire group is biased. It's like, I didn't vote. Like all I did was create the system for people to vote. And so it's just interesting how that all kind of plays out. And so it always makes me nervous going into, the award show, just because of that the kind of the backlash, the feedback that I always get every single year. But it is what it is. And for me, it's like, I always try to look at the positive. Like the positives are that people get honored for the contributions they made in the yard. Right. And so when people get recognized, we use our platform to, to shine the light on them. And so I'm glad that, we're able to do what we can do, even when we get the backlash.
All right. And I'm curious. I'm like, when officially did Hard in the Fight start? If you want to let all the viewers know.
It's approaching, I think, 3 years. So we're like 2 and some change. I could be getting my math wrong. But certainly, when I think about how this all kind of, the genesis of Heart in the Fight was that I was a Street Beast fan for a long time, as many of you. And there was a number of fighters that kind of attracted me. Like I was a combat sports fan for a long time. And so I remember watching, King Leo. I was like, oh, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Right? Watching A-Train. I'm like, oh, okay. And a bunch of other folks like Italian Tyson. And so those are the guys that kind of attracted me to Street Beefs. I started watching, I joined the community. I didn't realize that, you didn't have to be a fighter to join the community. I don't know where I saw that. There was like, oh, you can just join the community. So I joined the community and, so they only had one branch at that time. And so everyone was in there. And then I probably like 2 or 3 months later, I saw that the West Coast was going to create their branch. And when I saw that, I had a youth that I was working with, and he was doing boxing to lose weight. And one day he hit me up. He said, hey, man, I'm thinking about, wanting to pursue this as on a professional level. And I said, well, you have to gain some experience. Have you thought about Street Beefs? He goes, no, I'm not going to, fly to Virginia. And I was like, no, they're actually creating a new West Coast branch. And so I contacted Tiny Tank. Tiny Tank said, yeah, put him in. Give me his contact info. So I connected them two. And then he ended up fighting at the first one. At the very first event.
What are we talking about?
It's Monta Mouse.
Okay.
So he fought Karma.
Yeah.
So those two fought. And so, it certainly wasn't. I mean, he ended up losing. It certainly wasn't the outcome that he was looking for, or we were all looking for. However, like being able to connect with him. And to see the positive in it, right? Like he got in there. I think that's
right.
The most important thing is that he got in there. He had no fight experience before then. And he just went in there with just self-trained, got in there, did his thing. And I said, well, I wonder what, so we had an opportunity to debrief. And I was like, I wonder how many people actually get this opportunity to debrief with a fighter. And I thought, well, what if I created a platform where I can interview fighters about fighting, about what drives them to go in that yard, what drives them to fight and explore that realm and that world. And so that's it. The idea just came to my head and I was like, maybe I should create this platform that I'm talking about here to get to know these fighters, because I'm looking at Red Reaper, I'm looking at Reckless Rico, and I don't know anything about them other than what I see when they fight. But outside of that, like I want to know, like, what was it like going in there? What were some of the challenges in the fights? Like, what motivated you to get in there? What do you want to do after Street Beefs? And so that's what, that was the genesis. And I hit up one of my close homeboys, Omar, who was originally on this, with me, and I was like, hey, he was a big combat sports fan. I used to, watch a bunch of fights with him. And I said, what do you think about this idea? Yeah, you remember him?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The very
And I was
first
like, yep. And I said, what do you think about that? And he was like, man, it's a dope idea. And I said, well, what do you think about coming along with me and doing this together? And so he was like, yeah, let's do it. And so we thought about names, spitballing names. We did our first 2 interviews without having the name of the show. And so we were, and so for us, it was like, all right, what is the name? How do we brand this? And so my wife actually helped me create the name. So she was like, what about Heart in a Fight? And I was like, yeah, I like that. And so we went with that. We went with that name. And then pretty much from there on, it was just like trying to convince people to do an interview with me. And so it's like, hey, I know you don't know who I am. I know I'm a stranger. I'm reaching out to you via Facebook. Yeah, I'm not a fighter. However, would you be willing to share your story with us? And so it just, that's how it kind of started. It started with just interviews with folks, and then realized that, hey, there are some additional gaps that I can fill in considering my skill set that could potentially grow this platform. And that's where we went with the shows. That's where we went with doing the promos and doing a bunch of other things, because we saw a number of gaps and opportunities for us to really expand our platform.
Dang, I like that answer. That's a good one. I did have one small question that came up in my head that's not written down in the middle of this. You said when you joined Street Beefs, the thing that appealed was that you didn't have to be a fighter. But I was very curious. Have you ever been in a fight in your life?
I have. But I'm not like y'all, though. I'm definitely not like y'all. Y'all are tough. No. So I have back in the day, growing up. I think about all my journeys in fighting. Certainly it wasn't like y'all, like where it's like refs and stuff and trained. It was more of like, hey, we got on some boxing gloves. You want to just go in the backyard and do some sparring? I was like, sure. Right. As a little kid, sparring some folks. And so I never considered fighting as, a profession, or never really considered fighting as an option. I mean, but even think back in the day, right? Like boxing was a thing. MMA was like MMA was underground for a long time. It was like in smokers. And so who said that? Daniel's humble. He's a terrifying man. No, I'm all teddy bear here.
Hey, for the people who don't know, he's saying he's a teddy bear, but in real life, this man is about 11 feet tall and like 200 pounds of muscle. Don't let him fool you. Standing side by side, he towers over you, and he's kind of intimidating. Yeah, real shit.
It's funny because Samke, the first time our interaction is low key undefeated in the streets. Yeah. So when the first time I met Samke, his first response was like, "You're taller than I anticipated." Yep. So that's normally the response I always get. It's like, "You're taller or bigger than I thought." Yep. I'm like, "What y'all think I was?" Maybe they just assume all media people are small. Sure, I don't know, but it was just like interesting to get that kind of response the first time I seen people physically in person.
Yeah, funny, yeah. Like, oh, hello there.
Yeah, I could say to what we were just talking about, man, Street Beefs as a whole definitely benefited and needed something like Heart in the Fight, and specifically Street Beefs West Coast. That really, what you've done with Heart in the Fight, it definitely propelled Street Beefs West Coast, from the jump.
Yeah, I appreciate it, because I wasn't sure how we were going to be taken, to be honest. Right. Like and so before we actually created our platform and launched it in the group, I asked Scarface, like I emailed him and I was like, hey man, this is my idea. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I just wanted to get permission before I just kind of set up shop in someone's like backyard. It just doesn't make sense to me. Right. Like at least have the common courtesy to hit people up. And so that's what I did. I hit him up and told him what the vision was. And then he was like, yeah, you know what? Do it, and hit all the branch leaders up and tell them I sent you. I was like, what? you tell them you said, okay, got you. And so that's how I got in contact with everyone. I literally used that phrase. I said, hey Martin, hey Alex, hey Fire Chicken, Scarface sent me, and he sent me over so we can do some interviews.
Yeah, I'm VIP. No, and man, I'm telling you, it's an honor to be able to interview you here because you worked all the branches, and I remember I actually got to be one of my favorite ones that you guys do with like the press conferences. And I remember me and Gash got to be on the press conference with you guys, and I was like, what? And I was like one of our first press conferences. I was like, oh, I feel so cool. I feel this, I feel that. And so when I found out that we got the interview today, I was like, oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy how it comes around.
Hey, Dan, there's a lot of fighters who are fans of you and the show. You know what I mean? If you don't know, I'm letting you know. Real
Thank
shit.
you, brother. I
You know,
appreciate that.
I can remember. I can remember being one of those people in the live chat. You know, before someone told me to change. You know, hey man, take your real name off and put Samke up there. You know, someone told me to do that. Before then, man, I was on there like a nobody. You know, oh man, you know, you guys are live. Hey, what's up? You know, and the first time I got on the show, I can't remember what episode it was, but you know, it was a great feeling. You know, real shit.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing, right? Whenever we're thinking about like who to bring on as guest, like again, I'm always looking for who's out there who doesn't have access to the platform, doesn't have access to magnify the voice. And I've seen you around, and I was like, you know what? Let me holler at Sam K and see what. And I think everyone didn't know about the golden voice until you were on our show. When they heard you, they was like, okay, this man is legit.
That's true. That's true.
Ooh, can you do the Fire Five with Daniel still on? That was a good suggestion. And West Coast, that was funny. Vin Diesel, yeah.
Yeah, that fits. That fits. Vin Diesel. If you're down, absolutely, man. If you're down to stay for our segments, that'd be dope.
Yeah, for sure.
That kind of leads to a good question I wanted to ask, is because I've watched in your interviews, man, you have pretty good knowledge on combat in general. And I know you're not like a fighter like per se us, but when it comes to the fights that you've been in, you know, give me some sort of assessment, man. Like how are you? You know, what do you do? You know, what's your thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I used a lot more kicks. So I just have I had some dexterity in my legs, and so I was able to kick, roundhouses, do a bunch of different things. But as you get older, the tendons start to tighten up, especially if you're not using them. In the pandemic, I definitely was not using any kicks. And so whenever I try to throw my kicks now, I'm like, oh, I'm a little rusty. But I did train at some point for a little bit, but it was just more like going to the gym. And I felt like probably my strong suit was grappling more than anything else.
Dang, I can dig that all the way. Heck yeah. No,
yeah. So use my kicks for distance. Once we get in, we grappling.
Waste no time. I was curious about with so much involvement with Street Beefs, and earlier you brought up how many fights you have to watch, every single month. Do you even have time, if you wanted to be able to watch, UFC, boxing, BKFC, or anything like that, or you're pretty just all involved with Street Beefs?
No, anything combat sports. And so I've actually removed a bunch of other sports. And so I don't watch basketball like that. I don't watch football like that. I don't watch football at all, really. And so I had to cut out the other sports and just keep Street Beefs and in combat sports, together. And so, yeah. And so if any professional sport, it would just be MMA.
All right. I can dig that.
Yeah, I feel that. I always said, like as we age, there's really no other sport we really need to be able to do other than combat. You know what I mean? At 40, 50 years old, I don't care if you could slam dunk a ball on me. Like, yeah, can you throw hands? Can you throw legs? You know, like, what can you do?
Exactly.
Yeah, I see Diesel ask, tell us about some of your street fights, please. And so I'll just tell you one in particular. And this was definitely when I was like a lot younger. And so I remember, so I have a bunch of brothers. And so one of my brothers is a year younger than me. At that time, he was smaller than me. Now he's bigger than me, a lot bigger. But I remember there was this bully in our neighborhood, a lot older than us, and he was bullying him. And I remember like confronting him. And I mean, here's a story where like I really lost. And this dude was picking me up, slamming me all over the street. He was bigger, like, but the thing is, what I learned from that fight was like I was not going to give up. Like I kept getting up, kept like pushing towards him. I kept moving towards him, and I kept trying to, fight him off. But certainly it taught me a valuable lesson just about heart. Like sometimes at the end of the day, it's about heart.
And I like that you said the heart, because I was actually going to ask if being so involved with these fighters and, like you said, so invested and about them and who they are as people, do you feel that sometimes even we all go through trials and tribulations and it gets hard, especially with you running the show? Do you feel that seeing so many fighters have so many different things affect them negatively, but still try to push forward, do you feel like that in a way almost boosts what you do and makes you really, like, gives you more energy and more hope to continue pushing on through the hard times?
Hey, yo, I got something happening right here, and so I'm just gonna have to log off. Sorry, y'all. There's some really serious. Sorry about that, y'all.
Yeah, it's all good.
But
All good.
I was,
Appreciate your time,
sorry
man.
about that.
Thank you very much. Oh, man, I hope everything's okay. Damn.
Yeah, man. He was having a little situation prior to the show, and hopefully that's not a continuation. But like I said, it was great. The time that we did have with him, it was great. And you never know, he may come back before the end of the show. That's possible. You never know.
Oh yeah, it happened. I was for everyone watching. I'll answer the question real quick, and you can too. I feel like talking to these fighters definitely helps me out, because there's times where I don't want to do something, and there's times where even I don't. Sometimes I'm trying to prepare for the show, and I'm like, man, I don't want to. I got this, that, yada yada yada, and I think like, well, this fighter doesn't give up, or this fighter's got this podcast that they do. This fighter's doing this. So if all of them are doing it, and we all have our different shit going on, why am I so special? I'm really not. So it's just like it really helps motivate me and push me to, despite how I feel, I can still continue to get the work done regardless. What about yourself?
Yeah, man. I appreciate just having these different fighters on and hearing their perspectives. You get the insight as to what's going on in other people's lives, and then at the same time, for me, I look at it and I'm like, oh shit, such and such is dealing with some of the same things I'm dealing with and pushing through. I can push through. Or sometimes it's I'm dealing with something and I know I can push through it, and I see someone else maybe discouraged, and we have that moment where we can connect, and it's like, nah, hey, you can push through just like I'm pushing through. So yeah, I saw your comment, King Magnus. Yeah, bro, I was looking for a Muay Thai match originally. Well, still am looking for a Muay Thai match. Somebody 160. Scrap yard, OG yard, it don't matter. And then I had the thought to myself the other day. I said, you know what? A ref versus ref match sounds pretty cool. Who, if anybody, from any of the branches would be willing to do that, that'd be dope. And as far as the Muay Thai situation, the only guys who messaged me were pretty much guys 3 weight classes up. You know what I mean? I'm 160 with clothes on. These guys were like 200 plus. You know what I'm saying? So just being smart, not making any money, as well as this is my first Muay Thai match. There's no reason I should be going fighting somebody 200 pounds. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But as far as the ref situation, I got some feedback from the Scrapyards ref, Coach P.
Oh.
And I told him, I haven't heard back from him, but last thing I told him was like, I'm 160, bro, you know, but if I can't get, you know, if I can't get matched up and you're down, you know, I don't know if he understood, you know, that this was the March Super Bowl event in Arizona. I don't know if he knew that or not. You know, I mentioned that. But I said, yeah, bro, you know, knowing he's a pretty big guy, I'm like, I'll get it. You know what I mean? If that's what it is, you know. A couple people mentioned not Coyote, Wolverine. And you know, that'd be a pretty dope fight, you know, if Wolverine was able to come out. You know, so we'll see what happens, man. You know, anything can happen, there's still time. And yeah.
Hey, I think our ref Derek, I don't think he's fighting at the moment. I think he's taking a break. But yeah, he loves doing some Muay Thai and kickboxing. And he's about, I remember I joked with him to fight 155 MMA because he sits around 155, 160. And then, yeah, I saw him like, I heard one of his kicks one time and I was like, we're not doing MMA. I'm good. You're going to ref my fights.
Yeah, you're talking about Gimp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that'd be dope too. You know, Gimp is, you know, actually close to my weight, and you know, he's got good skill, and yeah, you know, but again, the logistics, you know what I mean? Like, is he gonna be reffing at Scrapyard or is he coming to, you know, the Super Bowl event? So we'll see. You know, like I said, there's still time, and anything could happen. You know what I mean? So.
I saw that Free Smoke. You got that fight coming up?
Free Smoke? Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Smoke's looking nice out here, man. That's gonna be a scrap. That's gonna be a hell of a scrap. Go
okay. January 20th. January 20th. All right. And I know that
like the man said, hold on real quick. Like the man said, if anybody in Arizona, anybody in the Phoenix area, Street Beefs, you guys go out there and support that man. Free Smoke is literally he's leveled up, he's climbed the ladder, you know, and this is his time. You know, if you're available, go show that support, please.
Hell yeah. And I know that you said before the show maybe want to talk about a little bit of our goals or any fight agendas that we had. I don't know if that's something you want to just touch on real quick before we hit a break and do our sections and stuff, or if you want to talk about anything else.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of, I guess I kind of already started with that.
Yeah, I thought to continue. I was like,
tremendous question. You know, that's pretty much where I'm at, man. My goal that I've got set is basically, you know, get some Muay Thai in, hopefully at the Super Bowl. I said last year that I was going to make my way up to Scrapyard. So I don't know how, I don't know when, but it is going to happen. You guys are going to see me up there. And yeah, man, just I always say, man, I'm a forever martial artist. So my whole goal is to just forever get better. You know what I'm saying? Whether I'm competing or not, you know what I mean? Like the goal is to always continuously get better. So.
Exactly. No, I can dig that. I can respect that, and it's good to hear because we always ask other people their goals, so you know that way people can hear that, you know, we're not just doing the show, we're doing our own thing too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, for sure.
Shit, yeah, man. I feel that like.
What's on your agenda?
I definitely I don't care if I lose it again, but I'm taking that belt back for MMA again one more time this year. 2023. I'm gonna be disciplined. I'm taking the belt again. I don't care who has it. I don't care how hard I have to train. I don't care if I win and lose, back and forth, and I'm hurt, not or whatever. I am going to take the belt back. I had a taste. I want it again. Not for the fact that, oh, I'm the belt holder, for the fact that I show myself the level of discipline I can continue to achieve. I know that I can reach the next level. I know I'm on a plateau. So a lot of my goals this year are trying to grow, both as a fighter, because I kind of pulled the bullshit where like, oh, I have 2 months, so I can only train for this bit, do this, and I've just been too irregular with my lifestyle. So I just want everything to be a little bit more consistent. So I am constantly battle ready at all times, so that there's no excuse. If that opportunity does come, it's not, oh, I'm not ready, or oh, I'm not fully conditioned. Cool, let's do it. Drop the money, let's leave. So that's one of my biggest goals. And a lot of stuff with Joel. I have some big hopes. A lot of things around the city I've actually been applying to, and I want to try to get involved with the city, not just for Joel, but to grow. Yeah, seeing the Yankee and the Brit, all this stuff. Because I actually show some of their stuff. I have the overtime hustling stuff I show and I promote, and then I always talk about Streaky Scrapyard, West Coast, and OG. And I've even shamelessly plugged where I pull up videos and be like, yeah. So just trying to go forward, man.
Goals, man, goals. We forever progressing.
Exactly.
That's what this is about, man. You know, that was
also send you a t-shirt.
Huh?
That's another goal. I gotta send you a t-shirt.
Oh shit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm down. Yes, sir. But you know, that's one of the reasons why, you know, I wanted to make the switch to Muay Thai, you know what I'm saying? Because again, progressing, you know what I'm saying? You know, boxing is fine, and boxing will always be boxing, you know what I'm saying? But you know, when you want to test yourself in different aspects, you just got to get out there and do that, you know? So yeah, man.
I heard I like how that Bruce Lee quote, you know, you have to be like water. And one of the things I like, someone piggybacked off that, they're like, yeah, and at the same time, remember, still water goes stale. So you have to constantly move, constantly grow, constantly ever change. And I was just like, you know, that's good. That's a perfect point, because you could flow with everything, but if you're not doing anything and you're stuck in the same comfort zone, you know, it's not gonna mean anything then.
That's Canadian. Yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, bro. Hey, we still waiting for you to come back to the West Coast. This man over here jumping on here, throwing compliments and shit. We niggas is waiting for you, Canadian. I'm just saying, you got a line, and you know you got a line of dudes waiting for you. Come on, man.
I saw that one dream lineup post. It was like everybody versus him.
You know what I'm saying? Like getting everybody riled up, you know, just to show up 10 years later. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, yo, you guys, man, come to the March event with everybody, man. It'll be like, boo.
Canadian, if you were to show up to the March event, to the Super Bowl, bro, what kind of you know, that's the type of entrance you need to make. You need to make a comeback, and you need to make a statement. And all I'm saying is the March event, you know, that's the place to do it. That's all I'm saying.
It's the icing on the cake. Woo.
Free smoke.
Canadian Buddy V can try together. Yeah. Road trip.
I'm saying, man. The world has been waiting. I'm just saying.
Man. So you think we might almost be time to take a quick little short break and hear a word from OTH?
I think it's about that time, bro.
Yeah, hit it, Jay. I was supposed to. Oh man, he's probably grabbing a drink of water. He's like,
"What's good? It's your homie, Freezes Christ. Y'all know the deal. Make sure y'all head on over to overtimehustling.com, where you can catch all the latest merch, all the newest mags, all the media, everything, know what I mean? And you can also find me on Winging It with the homies Keith G, King Dale, and Payne Gusto. And you can catch me on Turf Tales with the homie SK. And if you got nothing to do on Sundays, even if you do got something to do, make sure you tap in the Overtime Reactions hosted by the homie Cuzzo. And I cannot forget the homie Jay over there at the Yankee and the Brit channel. So make sure y'all go over there and check them out. And hey, check me out, your boy Freezes, on that Real Talk with Jay. It was a hell of an interview, yo. Gotta do it again. I keep saying it because I mean it. We gotta do it again. I had a great motherfucking time. But anyway, you know who it is. Freezes H, OTH, Yankee and the Brit, Winging It, Turf Tales, Overtime Reactions, Chronicles Podcast. You know the drill, Cush's Corner. It's a motherfucking movement. So move with it or move out the motherfucking way. Simple and plain.
Overtime hustling, we hustling overtime.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Woo! Now, for those of you that don't know, which all of you already do, it's the favorite time of the show where we have Buddy V's Fighters to Watch.
Buddy V's Fighters to Watch.
All right. Now, this is going to be a fun one. Once again, I have 3 Scrapyard West Coast OG. Now, No Nasty Native said that he was putting out some stuff soon, so I haven't checked. But when he does, there's going to be some Dirty South fighters for y'all, too. Ooh. But to start off, we'll do Scrapyard. And I actually have Slim Gotti. Now, I chose this man because he's came out before. I liked his fights that he had against Noodle Knocker because they actually had one boxing, one MMA. But he came out, he had some other fights. Most recently came out, fought Crazy Legs. The level of improvement that I have seen in this man's style, confidence, and all-around conditioning, it was just completely mind-blowing. I feel like he really leveled up in who he was as a fighter. And with that, I want to see him come back out. I'm really excited to see him fight again. He's entertaining to watch, and yeah.
Nice.
So, 2, we have none other than Takeoff.
Okay.
So, you know, he walks it like he talks it. Hey, walks it like he talks it. Now, I picked him because, funny enough, he actually lost the fight. I forgot who he was fighting, but he lost his fight. And the reason why that was what made him on the list was his composure. The entire time he was there, he actually was getting. This is the fight. What the hell am I thinking? He was there. He got pinged a couple good times, but he was countering. He was really trying to stay there, but he did not lose his cool the entire fight. From the very beginning of the first round to the end of the third round, I could almost see very little difference from the style that he had. And that to me was very impressive, especially considering some of the damage that he did take. So to me, and he also had a smooth style like Samke. Yeah. So that definitely got him on the list right there. I want to see him back out. I want to see him get that win.
Yep.
This third one, this one is from the OG yard. It's amazing. His name is DH. Now, this was crazy because you see the fight and you're like, all right, that's pretty good. All right, fight. I wonder if he's going to do good. And you're seeing it. And this man, the level of heart he has is just like, holy shit. He goes out there. He outperforms his opponent. Blew me away. And, I mean, I honestly thought his opponent was going to be a little, like right here, he had some good points. So I thought he was going to end up coming out on top. But DH took it, and I was just like, all right. He looked fucking exhausted since he did it. He proved it to himself, and I was blown. So I want to see him come out. I really want to see him dig deep again because I think he has a lot of potential. Those are my 3 fighters to watch.
Nice. I'm going to have to check him out, man. I didn't see that last fight. I'm definitely going to have to check that out, bro.
Yeah, that was cool. I liked it. I was like, okay. But
yeah, man.
Smells like a little fire.
You smell the fire? I think it's about that time, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up? Tom Can the Fire 5. Let's go ahead and get it. First fight. Classic. Fair play versus challenge accepted. Both of these men are legends to the OG yard. This bout right here, I mean, this is a beautiful boxing match by 2 fighters with 2 awkward styles. And you don't get that too often, man. Very technical, but very intelligent fighting right here. And a lot of durability on display by both men. This is a 6-round match. Great presentation by the OG yard as well. As you can see, this isn't outside. This is inside the gym. And there's a little bit of commentary to go along with it. Fair play versus challenge accepted. Firefight. Check it out. We're going to move on to the next one. Yeah, you see it. Street Beef Scrapyard. Too Explosive versus Jazz. What we're looking at here is an MMA match. A lot of takedowns in this match. A lot of reversals within those takedowns. Great ground and pound. And ultimately, the victor, you know, he found the submission and he got that dub. This is a fire fight right here. Street Beef Scrapyard, Too Explosive versus Jazz. Check that out. We're going to move on to the next. Yeah, you see it. Street Beast West Coast. Gorilla Pino versus Disturbing the Peace. This was one hell of a fight. Hell of a fight. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys right now, if you don't know these two fighters, they're huge guys, and they bring a lot of force in any fight that they're fighting in. One man walks away, point blank period. The first round is pretty much, it's a dogfight. I mean, straight bombs being thrown. And at the end, this is one of those fights you could truly say the ending was better than the fight. That's all I'm gonna say. If you haven't seen this fight, the ending is better than the fight. You see the timestamp, 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Street Beast West Coast, Gorilla Pino versus Disturbing the Peace. Firefight. Check that out. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna take you back to Street Beef Scrapyard. Yeah, you see it. It's a bloody heavyweight kickboxing title fight. The fighters' names aren't in the title. This is Brickhouse versus Reaper. Reaper to your left, Brickhouse to your right. This is big boy heavyweight boxing, kickboxing action right here. The combinations that's on display, the fire that's on display, the grit. I mean, it's unmatched. These guys really went out there and they gave us a show. They banged it out. Again, this is a firefight coming out of Street Beef Scrapyard. As you see in the title, it's a bloody heavyweight kickboxing title fight between Brickhouse and Reaper. Check that out. We're going to move on to the last firefight. I'm going to take you guys back to the West Coast. Y'all might have forgot about this one. Street Beast West Coast, Duva versus Superman. Man, two monsters. Both men working their game. What I mean by that is you got a wrestler who's wrestling his ass off. You got a guy who's using jujitsu to the best of his abilities against a monster who's wrestling. I mean, this right here, if you know what you're watching, this was some shit right here, man. The reversals, I mean, just so much skill. The back and forth was something, man. It was something to see. And neither of these guys are to be taken lightly. Street Beast West Coast, Duva versus Superman. Firefight. Samke in the Fire 5.
I like that. That was a good one. Damn. Duva's definitely one of my favorite West Coast fighters, too.
Bro. Man, I saw that fight live, man. I was kind of like in the corner. I was almost in between those guys. Like the visual that I had, I could see perfectly what was going on, man. And man, you almost got to watch that in slow motion. You almost got to literally watch that fight in slow-mo to see all the intricate details, what Duva was doing on the ground, what Superman was doing after he initiated the takedown. Yeah, bro. Fire.
Damn, I'm like, you comments are going off now. I can dig it. And what's up, everybody in the chat that's still here with us? That was a good one. Oh, and some good news about the Scrapyard fighter, Too Explosive. Unfortunately, he's taking a temporary hiatus from MMA, but I think he's going back to college. Not only going back to college, signed with a top-tier elite wrestling team, and is going to be trying to take that to an entirely new level. So, yeah, DH is actually unique. Yeah, it's. See, I tell you, that's why we got the good pigs. We like to watch too. We don't have to be as serious about watching the videos like Daniel, though, man. Oof. Yeah, he has to watch every video. We miss a couple, we watch them next week or next month. Okay.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the show, man. Is we all get to do our homework. You know what I mean? Nobody has seen every single piece of content. So it's a learning experience for all those who are trying to learn.
Exactly, and I like it because there's times where you have a Fire 5 fight that I haven't seen. And I'm like, okay, as soon as the show's over, I'm like, yeah.
Same, bro. Same.
Hell yeah. So I was thinking, we about to start wrapping the show up.
Yeah, it's about that time, bro. You know, it was a little bit shorter tonight, but we still gave you guys the same quality show as always, you know. And definitely got to give a major shout out to Daniel for your time, bro. I'm gonna check on you as soon as we're done. Make sure everything's good on your end with the fam and all. Thank you for your time, bro. I want to say thank you to the audience. Thank you to those who were made it in the live chat. We appreciate you guys. We do this for y'all. Shout out to Street Beefs West Coast, Street Beef Scrapyard, Street Beef Dirty South. Last but not least, Street Beefs OG Yard. We do this for y'all. Like I said, I don't really do the social media. If you got me, you got me. If not, catch me right here every Tuesday, same time. Also, I want to say shout out to Overtime Hustling, Cuzzo. We got Turf Tales coming up. That's going to be a major situation. West Coast edition. Looking forward to that. And we got the Heart in the Fight annual Street Beefs Award show going down. I want to say it's on the 28th of this month. First and foremost, if you guys aren't subscribed to MMA Underground, that's here on the Yankee and the Brit channel, you guys need to subscribe. If you guys are not subscribed to Heart in the Fight, what are you doing? Go to Heart in the Fight and subscribe. Hit the bell, hit all, and you're good. And before I let you guys go tonight, hit the like button. We do this for y'all. It ain't gonna hurt you none. Just hit the like button. We appreciate it.
Hell yeah. And like you said, shout out to everybody that tuned in. Shout out to everyone that supports everyone here. Shout out to that killer co-host. Oh, it was fun, you know. Second show back. Oh, the new year's starting off pretty good. I think so. Yeah, if you guys want to support local, you know, check out the fire, check out everybody, check out Free Smokes Fight 2. Hopefully you want to check out that March event. Check out Zwell-world.com for not just my merch, but where you can find the official Yankee the Brit t-shirt. Yes, I make them myself. And yes, if you are a fighter, you get extra shit thrown in your box. So you don't believe me? You could ask who's gotten some stuff. So one of my favorite was Sun Woo, because he made one of the biggest purchases before from a fighter. So I was like, oh yeah, you gotta hook him up.
Yeah, that's a cool dude. We need Sun Woo back on the West Coast, man. That dude's a monster.
I want to see him back out. He's killer. And yeah, Zwell_Buddy V for the Instagram, because I have some more fun shit coming on. Like I said, this year's gonna be a fun year. I have some things in the works. I'm applying to some things with the city and shit. Yeah, you actually, funny enough, in the city of Tacoma, you might start seeing my artwork around different buildings, on different power boxes. And yeah, so I'm up and up in the world, man. Never stop grinding.
That is awesome, bro.
So thank you all again. I'll stop talking your ear off because it's almost like rambling now. And in the words of Jay, one world, one love, deuces.